You know, I haven't been excited like this about a sequel series in a long time. I mean, think about it. How often does an A-plus series, like Justified, get essentially rebooted with a new story from a book written by the same author as the original? Even better, the original Justified series had ties between Kentucky and Detroit, so having Raylon in Detroit is very fitting and natural from the beginning. I remember, because luckily for me, I rewatched Justified for the third time very recently, and I didn't know about City Primeval until after I had restarted it, so this is all very fresh in my mind. So I'm gonna try to review this first episode without giving too many spoilers. Hit the like button and tell me in the comments, what do you think of the first episode, or 3 if you've binged all of them. So episode 1, Raylon and his daughter are on their way to Miami for a vacation, when things at work just start popping off like usual. And Ray just can't get away, waylaying their trip. Not unlike back when Raylon and Winona are on their way out of Harlan for good, when Loretta needed him the most. And Winona point blank asks Raylon not to go save Loretta, but he chooses to anyways, stopping them from getting out of Harlan. You probably know that in the show, him and Winona's daughter Willa is played by his actual daughter, Vivian Oliphant. And in the show, she's definitely got Raylon's wild side, to the point where it almost seems like she's a clone of Arlo. And not surprisingly, City Primeval already has a great villain, Clement Manzel. Charming, handsome as sin. I knew this series would, as usual, bless its viewers with a terrific villain, as they always do. The biggest thing I was worried about with this series is just not having Boyd Crowder. As much as Raylon is the main character as the protagonist, Boyd really stole the show. More than any other secondary character I can remember in any show ever. Now, this guy, Boyd Holbrook, he's got huge shoes to fill, but he's off to a good start. He's very menacing. No one's ever gonna measure up to Boyd Crowder, and I'm gonna try not to hold that against him. Now, it's early in the series, but so far, this guy has a real bad Raylon vibe about him. By that I mean, he reminds me of if Raylon followed Arlo's footsteps instead of becoming a lawman. He's handsome, a little bit rugged, while being a smooth talking, confident type. Like Raylon, you can tell he enjoys hurting and killing people. But unlike Raylon, he's not gonna wait around for some noble reason to do it. Those of us that aren't too far removed from watching the original will see a strong similarity between his grift and the grift of every Justified fan's favorite wannabe cockfighting manager, Randall. Remember these two? She's the honeypot, and then the muscle shows up to rob the mark. Well, we're doing that again. Not complaining, but it definitely felt similar. Speaking of things we're apparently repeating, remember the freaky judge that only wears a Speedo under his robe? Well, this judge that Raylon's trying to protect, he's not as freaky, but he's definitely an asshole, and you can 100% easily understand why people would want him dead. I have to admit, I was worried that City Primeval might get co-opted by the woke movement, as almost everything Hollywood produces does. So far, so good though. While at the same time, they've done a good job of portraying the way the justice system these days can be coerced by the fear of being labeled a racist, especially as a police officer of any kind. Raylon does his usual stick in the beginning of telling somebody he's got handcuffed, that if they don't do what he wants, they'll be riding in the trunk. A callback to Justified. And in the courtroom, Carolyn, the main attorney in the show, plays it like, oh, you were gonna put a black man in the trunk? Anyways, Raylon's relationship with his daughter is pretty much what you would expect. She loves him, though they're not as close as they could be had Winona not left Raylon, which still doesn't make sense to me. Don't get me started on it. That's a completely different video I need to make. Suffice it to say, she never should have left him, and I'm not over it. The first episode has me super excited though, about everything that's to come in the next 7 episodes. I'm going right now to binge watch the episodes dropping on Hulu tonight, and I'm gonna make a video on episode 2. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time.